it's People Mentor. So today I want to talk about the emotions challenging conversations can create. I've written and I've talked plenty on difficult conversations, the theory and the practice. And if you do a quick Google search, you'll find loads of the same kinds of things. How to have difficult conversations, 5 steps to having a difficult conversation. And they give a really good overview of the topic. But the problem is we are human. Our conversations, our reactions, and our actions don't follow a formula. Asking someone to be calm doesn't always get the desired result. In fact, it can have the opposite effect. And I've mentioned this in previous lives. Sometimes we will fail to keep our emotions in check. And today I'm going to talk about one of my experiences with difficult conversations and why they don't always go the way you want them to, and why that's perfectly okay. When I think about difficult conversations I've had, and there have been many, a few examples stick in my mind, but particularly this one. I'd got promoted into this role, an operations manager, and I had a manager that I was managing who wasn't at all happy that I'd got the job because she'd gone for it as well. And so she went out of her way to make my life a misery. And one day I kind of just had enough. So I took her in for a one-to-one and things got quite heated. In fact, if I'm honest, I ended up in tears and I felt awful and ashamed that I was actually in tears. She was shouting and being awful. And so I explained to her what behaviour I was witnessing from her and asked her to take some time out. And then I asked her what I could do to help her accept that I'd been given that job role so that we could move forward as a management team. It was then that she tried to tell me that nobody had ever told her about her conduct before or her behaviours. And that was when I pulled out her personal file and showed her the evidence that she'd had issues with previous managers. At that point, I suggested she took time out and we agreed to meet after lunch to carry on the conversation. And I was still beating myself up about those tears. When she came back, she was so much more relaxed. And she said that she'd probably been told about her conduct before, but it had never really registered with her. And she accepted what I was saying and said she would change. In actual fact, she did more than change. She became a real asset to the team and to the office. And one of her key skills was communication, and we were bringing in a major change. Well, I went off, took a week's holiday, and when I came back, she'd got the other managers together and arranged a frequently asked questions spot for the teams so that the teams could ask the questions they wanted answers to. And then she put it into a document and circulated, and she kept updating it. That lady was a real asset once she accepted that I'd got the job role and she just had to get on with me. There are some other lessons I've learned about difficult conversations too, and I'm going to share them with you. Meanwhile, if you have any top tips, please put them in the comments. I'd love you to share them with me as well. And the first lesson I've learned is to think before you speak or write an email. Really never respond when you are stressed, tired, or angry, because it never ends well. Take the time out and either reschedule the conversation or send the email when you feel a bit more balanced. And the second lesson is to focus on solving the issue with the other person, not blaming them for things. Playing the blame game can actually make the other person defensive. And you won't be able to have a decent conversation with a good outcome. My third lesson is to make sure you accept and understand the other person's perspective. Listen to them and pause before you respond and really take it in what they're saying to you. The fourth lesson is to ask yourself, what stories are you telling you? So what are you saying to yourself before you go into that conversation? Have you already decided that that person you need to have a difficult conversation with is rude, aggressive, a bad person? Well, stop right there. Stick to the facts, leave opinions and anything personal out of it. Now, I'm going to end up on the note of the Chartered Management Institute approach to conversations, and they've kept it really simple, and they use the acronym TALK. So here are the steps they suggest. So T, think about reframing the conversation. Don't go into it thinking of it as difficult. Instead, go into this meeting with the intention of working with someone to find a solution, a workable solution, and it's about collaboration. A, always use clear, simple, and neutral language. Please don't accuse the other person, and don't just state your opinion. There's nothing worse than that. And stick to specific examples and the facts. And then L, listen to what the other person is saying and try and hear and understand their perspective on the issue. And K, keep the focus on the issue, not the person. So whatever you do, don't make it personal. And I think that's a great way of remembering the approach you need to implement. So remember, talk. And you notice that there's very much things around listening and hearing to emphasize that this is really important and this is a key part of having a challenging conversation. If you want more, then you can, from me, then you can ring my bell on my profile to get the latest updates. If you pop to the website or the link in my profile, there's a free ebook dealing with difficult work situations without losing your temper. And if you want something to journal in, how to make difficult conversations easier in the workplace, and that's off Amazon, or you can sign up for the Difficult Conversations mentoring session, 2 sessions together, £250, and you will get all the background that you need to understand how to manage a difficult conversation. And then you will have the opportunity to go through some scenarios or some real case scenarios that you've got at the moment. So pop to my profile and look at the links, and any questions or anything you want to share, please put it in the comments. Okay, thank you for today and listening, and I'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thank you. Take care. Bye for now.